Right, what we've got on this one is we're going to look at multiplying and dividing. I'm going to show you multiplying first because once we've done multiplying, division is basically just a slightly different form to it. So with multiplying, what we can think about is just do it in the sense of Nike, that brand. Just do it basically means we're going to do our top number multiplied by our top number and our bottom number multiplied by our bottom number. So when I say just do it, as it's wrote, it's like our brain wants to just go, right, I would naturally go that number at the top, multiplied by that number at the top, that number at the bottom, multiplied by that number at the bottom. So in all of the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing of fractions, this one is probably the easiest one. So if we have got 1/2 multiplied by 1/3, my fraction then becomes 1 multiplied by 1 at the top over 2 multiplied by 3. And then my answer would then just be 1/6. If we end up with some numbers sometimes being a bit bigger at the top, so we might have an improper fraction where our number's at the top, again, we can just simplify those things. So if you want me to go through some of that stuff, we can look at that. But that is basically multiplying fractions. Just do it. Multiply top by top over bottom by bottom, and then just simplifying as and when. For division, I'm hoping you might remember this, but it's my mate Kif. Keep, inverse, and then flip. So our mate Kif. K-I-F. Right. So if we have the same, it's 1/2 divided by 1/3. What we've got now is to keep the first thing, and you always keep the first thing. Okay. Sometimes it can be a whole number. Sometimes it's a fraction, and I'll show you both. But you always keep the first thing. That's because when you're dividing by something, that's what you're cutting it up into. So I'm cutting my half up into thirds. I'm now going to go to the inverse. So the inverse of division becomes multiplication. And then my flip is just taking my fraction and just swapping round the numerator and the denominator. So I've now then got 3/1. Now that I've done Kif, I can just do it. So 1 multiplied by 3 over 2 multiplied by 1, which gives me 3/2. So this time we've got a top-heavy fraction. So I've got 1/2, 2/2, 3/2. So I've got one whole circle and I've got a half remaining. It can be quite common for you to get improper fractions when doing division. It doesn't always happen, but it does happen a fair bit when you've got a fraction divided by a fraction. So for division, we do our mate Kif, keep the first thing, inverse the operation, and flip your second thing around. Right? So let's have a look at it when it involves whole numbers. I'm going to show you the two fractions. So you could have a whole number divided by a fraction, or you could have a fraction divided by a whole number. Right, so let's change colors. The first thing I'm going to do is, for my whole ones, whether it's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, I'm going to put over 1. I'm just going to make it over 1. And that's because these are whole ones. So if we think about your place value, the 3 would be in the units column or the ones column, as it is now commonly referred to. So 3 whole ones. So if I think about KIF, I'm going to keep my 3 whole ones and I'm going to now multiply it by, and I'm going to flip around 4/1. 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1 whole one. So I've got an answer of 12 whole ones. If I go on to the other side, I'm going to get a different answer to before, and that's because now I'm dividing it by something different. So I'm not dividing it by a quarter this time. I'm dividing it by 3 whole ones. So I keep, so I've got my 1/4. I inverse for multiplication, and I flip these around again. So I've got 1/3. 1 multiplied by 1 is 1 over 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. So 2 very different answers. So I've got 1/12 or 12 whole ones. So that could be the difference between a little slice of cake or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 whole cakes. Okay, so multiplication, top multiplied by top, bottom multiplied by bottom, division, R, mate, KIF, keep, inverse, flip. If you want to go a bit deeper with that, just let me know and I'll go deeper with you. Okay. Bye.